Alright, this is called recap, means end of day. We'll talk about what we learned today. We all able to go into Circle CI, find your repository, activate it, and you see that your tests are run over there. Am I right? Wow, Ian, good job. Good there. And we all able to use simple COF, just 2 lines of code that give us the the coverage, give us information about how much we test our code. Am I right? So it's under the spec here, the spec helper here. Don't forget the word Rails here. When you write the word Rails, then the file will look more interesting to you. Without Rails, it will not give you as interesting outputs. So coverage index with Rails, it can give you the breakdown per controller, model, mailers, and it only focus on your app files. That's enough, right? You don't have the test file for your test, so there's no need to look into the spec folder and everything else. Okay, so these are the main things there, and I think by now it gives you an idea that these green lines mean they have been run, and then red line mean maybe this is not run at all. All right, so we also heard about a little bit about pull request, and then we'll try to do more of it in the future. But now you see that also for Heroku deployment, if you go to Circle CI and you allow Heroku, how do you do that? Just create a circle.yaml file, right? And it just automatically, when you push to this branch, it deploys to this app for you. Right? We also know how to go to Heroku and tell Heroku, hey, if I finish deploying, send something to Slack. So I have a few people finish that. Now then we learn the file upload part. Now here's a storytelling part. First, I believe you all can do the basics, which is if you include an avatar uploader, and if you add this mount uploader avatar, you now can have a field called avatar, and then you can call file.field here, f.fileField avatar, and your controller you have this params permit, right? Params require user permit avatar. Now you can upload avatar. Initially, we store it on our computer in this folder. It's public folder /upload /blah blah blah here. So I give you guys an example over here. An uploaded file is saved here, you see? In your project public upload folder like that. Okay? So I want you to have some basic understanding of this avatar uploader. It can handle a file and can decide where to save. However, right, when you finish milestone 7, your app now works with file upload. You can upload a new avatar and save it. All of this works fine. Don't worry so much about styling the bootmap style. Right? Don't spend time on that. It's just really not needed at this stage. Now, we have a problem. When you push to Heroku, any files you create by Heroku itself, those files will disappear when Heroku restart, when you deploy. This is very similar to your week 1. Not week 1, but that was week 3. When you push to Heroku with Sinatra, your to-do.md file, it seems to work, you mark something is done, but then tomorrow you come back, it's like a reset. So here's the idea that you have to set this up to be able to save your file to Amazon. So those of you who have not done this here, don't worry so much. In the future, you get the chance to. As long as you can handle file upload until here, it's fine. You can push to Heroku. It still works. It just doesn't work for a long time. Tomorrow, and when you restart the app, the images disappear. So then you try to do this part, okay? Now, if you don't have a Heroku account, you can use the keys that I have in this doc and give it a try. So finish milestone 8 at home if you can, if you want to make sure it works. Okay, so I keep telling you the storytelling part. I give you a few options here. But I strongly recommend just keep working with this one. Okay, career wave. I almost thought change the whole thing to use refile. Now, this is written by the same guy, and unfortunately, recently this guy is not working on this tool anymore. So it's actually not working well with Rails 5, but it's very cleanly written. This guy we'll use more tools by him. He wrote a bunch of really good ones. So the idea that this was written is that it's a modern tool, right? It's simple, powerful, and I think there's some hope there. Unfortunately, this guy, right, is not really, he's too busy right now. So some people even asking status. Some people are asking like, hey, you know, what is going on? Is it, you know, and then there's really no response here. Then someone else came along and said, well, no, I'm going to write this. And I think this is, if you later on, if you're a Ruby developer for a long time, you check this out. It doesn't look as pretty, but it's very powerful. And the funny thing is they actually learn from Career Wave and Refile. So this other developer is also very smart. So here the API is very similar to Refile. But then, you know, I would be interested in using it. However, after taking a look, you see that this whole thing is a little less friendly to new people. I actually prefer how Career Wave is a little simpler to look at. All right. So for now, just know that there's this option as well. You see, if you copy and paste, the code in here is shorter. So it's more modern. So what is the benefit actually? All of these guys do the same thing. Allow you to save your images to your computer or save it to the cloud. And the cloud here means it's either AWS, Amazon, S3. S3 is simple storage service, right? Or save it to Google Cloud or Microsoft Cloud. There's one more thing that these guys all do, which is processing your images. So if you search this, there is the idea that when you upload a file, sometimes you want to cut the image into crop it or store a smaller version so it's faster. Have you ever seen there's a thumbnail version of the image and the larger version? What Career Wave does is that when you upload the file, it's possible to resize the image as a thumbnail version or even a smaller version. So look at this guy. You can create an uploader. You guys know a little bit what an uploader is. And then this uploader, there's an avatar, but there's also a thumbnail version. And then there's a smaller one. So this is the 200 pixel, 280 pixel by 280 pixel, 20 pixel by 20 pixel. This is an example. When you upload one image, you get 3 images. The original, the 20 pixel by 20 pixel, and the 280 by 280 pixel. So when you use it, you can use the small version, so it's very fast to load. Imagine if you have 100 users on the page, it's very fast. You can use the larger version, or you use the original version if someone is looking at this user profile page, only one user. Do we understand why we need different versions? Otherwise, you know, the original one may be very, very, very big. Do you have a question? All right. Now, that is called post-processing. Processing the image after you upload it. And it's only processed once. You upload the image or you update it, it will process. Now it means in your application, you know you're using this 20 pixel by 20 pixel, or you're using this 280 by 280. What happens when you have a new page and you want to use it at 500 pixel by 500 pixel? Or if you want it 50 pixel by 50 pixel. Then you go in here and up and create another block, and then now you have to run something that is called regenerate. I think there's a command to regenerate all the thumbnails. That's not very cool. When you build an application and your designer say, actually, it's 20 by 20, no, I changed my mind, it should be 60 by 60 now. And then what if you, tomorrow, then you I don't like it, I think it should be 64 by 64. Because of this idea, some people build some things like as a on-the-fly processing. It means it processes when you need it. Here is one of those. This is called on-the-fly processing. Lorem Pixel, take a look at this, right? It processes your image into a 400 by 200, exactly what it is by that size. But if you want a 400 by 400, let's say even in the same image, it can process that. And this is on the fly. Now your app can do this. And then when you visit this again, it already processed it. It saved it somewhere, so you can reuse it. It doesn't use any power, the computing power, to process it anymore. So process it if it's the first time. If it's the first time you need the 400 by 400 pixel, the second time you just use it from the cache. So this is called processing, and a gem that is really popular for that is called the Dragonfly gem. And look at the, right? And look at the URL, it looks like this, right? Similar to the mount uploader thing. Each gem just has a different syntax here. It creates a virtual attribute. By now, you know, it's either avatar or photo or image. But when you use the gem, let's see some example. Is it here? I don't like that. You see this? Instead of avatar.url, this guy gives you an extra syntax. You can say, hey, process me and give me this dimension. 300 wide and 300 horizontal and 200 vertical. So this is a cool way on any page you can decide the size of the image you want. It's only slow the first time you ever do it, so you test it and it works. When your visitor, your friends, anyone else come, it will be very fast because it's already cached. So this is completely acceptable. Okay? Now, because of that, the guy who wrote Career Wave then went and write vfile, which is, it does what Career Wave does. It's smaller, and it also does on the fly. And because this vfile thing stopped getting updated, and then this guy wrote this, it also does on the fly. So when you guys read into this, you can see the idea is called on the fly. So maybe I search for the word on the fly processing here. You see? And then somewhere, you know, there will be some syntax for you to tell it where. This documentation is quite terrible, huh? I can't find it easily.
I think it's only at the bottom. You see on the right of the screen? It's all highlighted down there. Scroll bar.
Bottom, huh? Alright, let me just check very quickly up here.
Do you see
Oh, here. So this is processing. This is not on the fly. This is processing after you upload an image, but unfortunately. Sorry, Lloyd, you saying?
I just see on the I don't know if you can stand and talk about, but on the scroll bar.
On the?
So like, you see how
there's
the
that
bar is
yellow
that goes
bar.
up and down? The yellow?
Yeah. It's only here though.
Yeah.
Right? So actually this shrine though, it actually cannot do the same thing as vfile and Dragonfly here. It can do that on the fly, so allow you to define. However, all right. So apparently refile is actually smart. Dragonfly is smart. I was wrong. I thought Shrine is smart enough for that, but it doesn't do that. It's quite strange because it's really copying the refile interface with the all this thing. It looks exactly the same. Now this is just a bit extra and advanced, so if this part makes you feel sleepy, just bear with me, just a few more minutes. So on the refile here, it has a backend that support file system, which is saving it to your computer, and it also support saving it to Amazon. But look at the API here. Here, it can even support saving to the database. This is also really awesome. Normally, you don't want to save file to your database because make the database big and it's a separate thing. But it's a lot to talk about. But nowadays, database is quite powerful. MongoDB and PostgreSQL, they can handle this kind of file system. Okay, let's see where the on-the-fly stuff is going. Then you can on the maybe the word fly. Okay. Sorry. Alright. Where is on the fly? When you use an image, very similar, but this gem gives you attachment URL. But the career wave gem, I like it better. You just use a normal, user.avatar.url thing. Look, the reason why refile gives you this helper because it allows you to specify the size of the image. And even better, you can even tell it to fill, for example. It means if the image is not as big as 300 by 300, the original image is not as big, the fill mode will actually can grow to fill that. There's maybe tile mode, which is like repeating the images until you can fill that area. So this is quite powerful. And if you can get it to work with your Rails 5, then great. But unfortunately, they're not really releasing it. I don't like the fact that it's quite sad. Maybe someone can go and help them because this now is not released anymore. So you could use the latest version, which is the GitHub. Instead of you can point it to GitHub, but I tried and I still don't get it. I'm not very happy with the amount of hacks I need for it to work. Okay, so do we understand the on-the-fly thing? Some of us? Okay, just to entertain is the idea. Now I'm going to demo to you the result of what we get. It's quite powerful what we have done today. Okay, let's just run to server outside. Here. I added a few more things. Now, one question you want to ask is, can I make it work with admin? What I did earlier is, it works here. Let's say I log in with Facebook here. Just demo this feature. And then I log in already. I click on my profile, right? I can now upload an image. Okay? So I will try to change it to this other picture. And then I save this, right? Now notice that, if I do it properly, now the image has been saved. This is my image and it's now saved on Amazon. Where is that? Here, right? This is the Amazon URL. So that's good. Now how can I make it possible to go into this thing over here and then also handle that when I create a new user? Okay? So let's test. I create a new user here. I have to update the admin code. User admin. Now, this is the form. And I have a little trick. I have a little trick. And this one is, a lot of us will not know, is when you editing a user, you want to display the current image like this. It's not really easy. So I have a little hack I can share with you guys, which is like, hey, when you use this, change this to a file field like this, and then I say, in the label area, if there's no avatar, then I can do write some text. But if there is an avatar, display that image so I know what it is. So when I edit a user, I can see this, so I know I don't have to set an image. But if I go here, I create a new user, then this will use that text. So that's a little hack to use with the framework, because otherwise it will be pretty hard to know what to display. Okay? Another thing with the hack is you can see now I can search for people. This is something you should add to your homework, right? This week, make your app more and more like Facebook. Search should work better, but you can also support this backend, so it's easier to do tests. So obviously, this one's easy. Trestle come with a few plugins that you can try. Okay. Then you can play with that. Now what I did earlier is taking advantage of this documentation, right? So if you want to protect the strangers from the internet, and you can try out the Trestle auth thing. The most useful one currently is this Trestle search. I really don't like this integration to show the complicated text editor. Just use Markdown. But
the Trestle search is within Trestle, you can search?
It's an extra gem, so you can just use it and you get the result that I just showed. So it's quite nice to be able to add search directly. And it'll look like this. Now let's learn a little SQL statement here. So Trestle search allows you to define a search block. And I define that if you search by any query, search by any text, this is the percentage before and after here. This is a SQL thing, means I am going to match any part of this text inside any name. But I'm comparing it with name or comparing it with email. So you can actually search here by name or email. So for example, Harley, right? It's actually can search just word email over here. So for example, I can search this, right? That's in the email. For messages, I don't need that. Messages admin. So definitely do this for yours. Messages is simple as this. Q here, and then change it to a body. I like this. I like means not case sensitive. Like means searching by case sensitive. Now the syntax here may look a little strange to you. Some of you say, why don't I do this? Okay? Now, first, do not do this, because someone else can insert SQL statement in here that will say drop your, drop your database, and then the whole thing will be bad. So you want to always just give it a question mark and then put the variable there. Then Rails will sanitize this for you. However, this is not good for searching. Searching, you actually want to search something like that. For example, har, when you compare body with har, then it will check har is in the middle of your string. That's why. And then, of course, because we're searching by Q, that's why you see it this way. Now, some of you don't care about this searching yet. Don't worry, but for the other ones, it may be useful. Yeah? Why are you laughing?
This is just hilarious sometimes.
Thank you for stating the obvious. Anything else, guys? Because it's time to go home. All right, that's it then. See you tomorrow. I'll give you more time tomorrow to work on your home assignment this week. Which is the Facebook clone. Make it more and more functional.